So I said, hey, it's none of my business. You know
Yeah,
what?
I
I
know the whole
go,
thing. You know. Yeah.
whatever.
Are we going, John? All right. Well, so did you grow up here in Reno?
Grown up everywhere.
Gotcha. I get it.
We
Where were you from originally?
Originally from New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah. That's where
Uh,
my mom's from New Haven.
really?
She is. Yeah.
She might know my dad.
She went to Worcester, but she was only there for a minute. You know what I mean? So
My dad was a elected official,
yeah,
politician
yeah,
in New Haven pretty much his entire life.
yeah.
It
Think
was,
there's some kind of Navy base there,
yeah, well, what's it called? Not
but
Newport. It's something submarine.
so
Yeah,
her dad,
outside
my
New
grandfather
Haven.
was a nuclear sub uh, guy, and so that's why they lived in Connecticut, and they were born there, and then she just moved everywhere, because of that. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Well, my dad was an alcoholic,
fuck yeah,
Irish Catholic.
fuck yeah,
I met,
triple whammy. Yeah,
which I was going to ask you if that language was permissible because it might just come out.
yeah, you're good.
You
Just
know,
don't smoke crack on stage. That's it.
never have done any, never have done any of that.
Yeah, you're good.
But
You're missing out, Mike. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I think I was second grade, and I mean, my childhood was with my father being a politician. I mean, I met Ted Kennedy numerous times. I met Bobby Kennedy when I was a kid. My father, these Irish Catholic events. He was the grand marshal of the New Haven St. Patrick's Day parade. I mean, there's like how many
Yeah.
people go to that? That's like all of Washoe County.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
385,000 people
Yeah.
attend the New Haven St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yep.
It's huge. So I'm like, a little kid. It's like carnival. Well, what's this? But one night, I mean, there were Christmases, and my birthday's on Christmas. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Spent a few of them down here on 4th Street by myself.
Yeah.
But
Hey, me too. Christmases and birthdays, you know?
yeah, it's like,
Walking with nowhere to go, man.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. It's like
Yeah,
everybody's doing their family thing, and I don't have a family.
I hear you.
So my dad, being the Irish Catholic, out politicking, drinking with the boys all the time, and everybody knew him. I mean, he just knew everybody, and especially being in politics. I mean, you walk into his house, you have pictures of Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, because I think they went to Yale, and I mean, Tip O'Neill, all these old Irish people, and he's doing fundraisers, for the Democratic committees and parties and all these different things, and he was just never there. I play Little League. I never saw him at a Little League game ever.
Yeah.
Never came to a game. Basketball, playing basketball and stuff. Never saw him at a game ever. He,
Yeah.
he just wasn't around. So my mom was always kind of the one, raising me and stuff like that. And she was really good when she was younger like that. But one night, or it was Christmas, I think, we put up a Christmas tree and we never decorated it. I guess my mom moved out or something. I don't know where it was. I was too young. But I was like, aren't we going to decorate the tree like we normally do, as a mother, father, son? No. So it was like in March. My dad's sitting there drinking his whiskey and his beer, and I'm playing with my army men on the ground. And he said, Michael, he said, go over in that closet. There's a present for you. And I was like, what's the present for? And he goes, go get it. Well, okay. So I get this present, and I'm like, Dad, what's this for? He said, it's your birthday present. And I said, Dad, my birthday's on Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is March? Is this a St. Patrick's Day present or something?
Yeah.
He goes, open it up. So I opened it up, it was a skateboard. And I was like, oh my God, this is cool. Like, we lived on a hill, and I thought, I'm going to go out and kill myself on this
There you
thing.
go.
But it's just, life was going on like that. So my mother comes home one night. My father's not home. I don't know, it's dark. And she said, Michael, pack all your stuff. Let's go. And I'm like, where are we going? She goes, come on, let's go. Get your suitcase. Let's go. And I'm like, I don't have much stuff. I'm throwing it all in the suitcase, grabbing a few things. She goes, come on, let's go. Let's go. We got to go. We got to go. I walk outside and there's a huge silver bread van looking thing. And there's this guy at the steering wheel, and she goes, "Come on, get in, get in." And I'm like, okay, I get in, and they got a mattress put down, furniture and stuff all packed in there. And I'm like, what's going on? Where are we going? She goes, "We're going on a trip. Let's go." And I'm like, who is this dude I've never seen before?
Right.
We end up in Reno, Nevada.
As one does.
Drove all the way across country.
Yeah.
She moves out here to Reno. This guy ends up being my stepdad. I guess they got married. And he was originally from Hungary, escaped in the revolution in 56.
Got it.
He was a badass and a welder. Could weld anything, could weld lead. I mean, he was like really, really good. But anyways, we moved to Reno, ended up out, I think it was on Stoker. They used to have some log cabin things out there by where Harker and Harker used to be. And we lived in that for a while. And I went to a little school somewhere in the Northwest, I don't know, short period of time. Next thing I know, we're living in Getchell, Nevada.
Getchell?
Getchell. Yep.
Oh, let me see if I can see if I know where it is. I've never heard of that town. Is it still around?
Yes.
Where is it at?
You know where Golconda is?
Off of 50?
It's off 80. You go outside of Winnemucca, you go up over the pass towards Battle
Idaho.
Mountain,
Oh, okay.
and there's, as soon as you get up over the hill and go a few miles, there's a little pit stop there called Golconda. You turn north and go, I think it's like 26 miles north
Gotcha.
to Getchell. It was a gold mine,
Gotcha.
underground gold mine at the time. So one-room schoolhouse. Now, I came from a parochial school, raised Catholic. You're going to Catholic school, nuns, priests, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
It was like, if I did something wrong, put your hands up on the table, smack you with the ruler, you know. They were tough. It was like the military.
Yep.
But stayed in Getchell, third grade, I think. And my mom said to me, she was a Navy vet. She's actually buried out in Fernley at the Veterans Cemetery because she was a vet. She's passed away. My dad's passed away. But she said, "I'm going to ship you back to your father." And I said, "I don't want to go back there." She said, "For your education. You're not going to get an education out here in a one-room schoolhouse compared to what you were getting in Connecticut. You got to get an education and stuff." So I was like, I didn't have a choice. They drove me to Reno, put me on an airplane, propellers, back in those days, shipped me back to Connecticut. I got off in, I think, LaGuardia or JFK, I don't remember. And there's my dad, stepmother, and two kids, a boy and a girl. And I'm like, and I kind of had longer hair. My dad was a Navy vet.
Got it.
So he's like, "What's with the long hair?" And I said,
Live in Nevada. No.
well, it's like
Yeah.
the Beatles and,
Yeah.
the Stones. Like, it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
First thing we're doing with you is getting you a haircut.
There you go. Yeah.
Took me to the barber the next day and turned around and got a crew cut.
Gotcha.
I'm like,
So did you go to college in Connecticut?
no,
Where'd you go to college?
here, TMCC.
No shit.
Yep. So I was in Connecticut for like 4 years, and they didn't want me. I mean, they had their own family and stuff, and I'm kind of the outcast. So I'm running around with these guys and stuff, getting in trouble. And it ended up where we broke into a cemetery, and there was a building there, and we were knocking over gravestones and doing all kinds of boy stuff, getting in trouble. And we broke into this little building and stuff, and there was a safe in there. And we're all like, "Oh shit, money!"
Yeah.
Like, whoa! So the safe was open. There was an urn. Someone knocked over the urn. I didn't know what it was. Ashes go all over the floor. My tennis shoes, right in the middle of it. So they got my footprint.
Yeah.
So the cops, they couldn't figure out who did it.
Right.
Then, I don't know, a couple months later, this 3-story schoolhouse next to the rectory and whatever, where the nuns and priests live, was the school and the church and all that. We broke out like 36 windows in the school, throwing rocks through the window. Well, they saw us. Somebody saw us.
Yeah.
Cops come over to the house, bring me in front of my dad, and here he is, this famous politician. Everybody in town knows him. And they said, you're either going up the river to juvenile jail or you go back to Nevada. And I said,
See ya.
I'll go to Nevada.
Yeah. How old are you at this time? What grade?
12, 13,
Okay. Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
So they put me on an airplane, shipped me back out here to Nevada. My mother and stepfather had moved from Getchell to Gabbs to Silver Peak.
Got it. Silver Peak's a cool place. That's cool. I love it out there.
I went to school there,
Yeah.
finished the 8th grade, and my freshman year had to take a bus, 56 miles to Tonopah for my freshman year. There was only like 8 or 10 of us kids
Yeah.
that were in high school.
Yeah.
So most of them were older.
Yeah.
There was a few my age, but it was like, what am I doing here? I think about halfway through my freshman year, my mother moves out. And I'm like, where'd mom go? What's she doing? Stepdad didn't want me. He was, drinking in the bar all the time and getting in fights and all kinds of different issues with him. So I finished my freshman year. Well, he puts me on a Greyhound bus in Coaldale and ships me. My mother had moved to San Francisco. So it's like 1971. She was working for a patent attorney in the Ferry Building at the end of Market Street with the big clock on it. So we lived in the Sunset, about a block from Golden Gate Park. Now, in 1971 in Golden Gate Park, man,
Yeah, you smoke all the weed you want.
San Francisco was wild.
Yeah.
But I'm a kid.
Yeah.
So there was a bar across the street. And when my freshman year, I was hanging out with these cowboys. And Rudy Davis and Dave Manhire, which Dave still lives in Tonopah.
I don't know about you guys, but if you have ever been down on your motorcycle, gotten hit, somebody had no insurance, anything like that, you feel like there's nobody around to help you out, but Law Tigers Motorcycle Attorneys is the way to go. You need to get these guys, just save them in your phone if you have to. Law Tigers is there to help bikers. It's bikers for bikers. These guys ride motorcycles, and they will take care of you. They're personally handling claims and will be the biggest advocate for anybody on two wheels. Check out Law Tigers Motorcycle Attorneys and a sponsor of 4th Street Live. Thanks so much. This is Jacob, the host of the 4th Street Live podcast, and my new book, The Rail Runner, inspired by my life on the railroad and being a railroad contractor, is now for sale on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Please go check out my new story if you're looking to escape reality for a few hours. It's a great read. Support a local Reno author. Thanks so much.
Rudy's passed away. That's another story. But Rudy was a real badass. He was a Montana State wrestling champion. He'd fight anybody.
And a cowboy.
And his father was a cowboy.
Got it.
Worked for Ben Colvin on the 40 Bar Ranch.
Okay.
So that's where I got into that. But I'm living in San Francisco, and these guys see me out there. Hey, cowboy, come on over and have a beer with us. And I'm like, I'm not old enough to get in the bar.
Yeah.
Come on, cowboy,
Sure you
you
are.
know.
Yeah.
So because I was outside practicing my roping on a 5-gallon bucket, and they'd see me. So here I go over
In San Francisco, you know what I mean?
in the
Yeah.
sunset.
Yeah, even in 71, there was not very many cowboys.
No, they're like, hey, Kel, so I go over there and start hanging out with these guys, and they serve me beer in the
Yeah.
bar. I'm like, and we're shooting pool, and I'm like hanging out with these guys, and they probably at least 30 years old or older.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, his parents owned a house right in Golden Gate Park.
Cool.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's right where the lighthouse is.
Mhm.
Down at the end of the park. And there's a house, and invited me to this party and stuff. And I'm like, so they're, Grateful Dead, and everything's going, the music is going. They're all smoking dope and trying. I go, no, that's okay. I don't do that stuff,
Yeah.
So I'm having a beer and sitting there. I'm like, oh man, these people are all crazy. Everywhere I went, all over Golden Gate Park. And at that time, they had a stable in Golden Gate Park, huge barn, corrals, everything. And I saw these hoof prints when I was walking around one day, and I'm like, so I follow them. End up at the stable, and I'm like, what the hell? So there's two cowboys that working there from Sonoma, and I introduced myself. I started hanging out with these guys.
Yeah.
Saddling horses. I'm not getting paid anything. I'm just hanging out with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they rodeoed and stuff, and they said, hey, we're going to a rodeo in Pacifica. You want to come with us? And I was like, sure. So they were old enough to drive. We go up to Pacifica, and they're bucking out steers. And I'd never ridden a bull or steer in my life. And I rode this steer. I mean, rode him till he fell over. And they're like, get off, get off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
for dear
Yeah,
life.
you told me to hang on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm hanging on. I didn't have any spurs on or nothing.
Yeah.
So I rode this thing, and they said, man, you are good. You are good. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So my mom, I told her, I said, you know what? I'm so tired of you guys shipping me around like a sack of spuds. East Coast, West Coast, here, there. You know, I'm going to go be a cowboy and live on a ranch.
Yeah.
And she said, I will let you go, but you have to promise me you'll finish high school. I said, okay.
For her.
So I called Rudy, and we had landlines back then, you know.
Yep.
No cell phones. So no internet, none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I call him up, and I was going to run away, and he was going to bring me food. And so then he talked to his parents, who I'd never met, and they said, you can come live with us. And I'm like, really? I said, yeah. So I got on a Greyhound bus in San Francisco, ended up in Goldfield, got off the bus with my suitcase, and there they were greeting me.
In Goldfield, Nevada?
Yep.
Cool.
And
That hotel's for sale. Let's go in together.
I remember when they were redoing all the mortar and stuff on it.
It's crazy. It's like they
it's-
want like a $2 for it or something. Yeah, something crazy. Because it's a fucking
Well,
piece
yeah.
of shit.
Well, they used to have a cat house in Tonopah,
Right.
Bobby's Buckeye
And then
Bar.
Angel's Camp was just south.
South of it was Cottontail Ranch,
Oh, fuck yeah.
where you turn to go towards Lida.
Yeah,
You can go over towards Big Pine.
Well, what was the one? It's Angel something. Angel Landing in Beatty.
Oh, maybe in Beatty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go down to Beatty too much.
Yeah.
Back-
You're not missing much
back
in
in
Beatty,
those
my
days.
friend.
But you know, I was just like, okay. So I moved in with him, and you
Yeah.
know, he was. I mean, back then he was only making like $500 a month.
Yeah.
As a cowboy, but
Yeah.
it was real cowboying. I mean, it was. We had 2 dogs. Well, we had more dogs than that. We had like 3 or 4, but good cow dogs and stuff like that. And I learned we didn't have corrals and all that kind of stuff. We'd hold 100+ head of cows out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
With the dogs, 2 of us, me and Dud, we'd rope them and brand them, what they call, we'd find 4 and 5-year-old slicks. Never been roped, never been
Yeah.
branded, nothing.
Is that ranch still around?
It's, I think the BLM, it was mostly all BLM permitted land. And I think Ben lost the permits against, had a lawsuit with the government, all kinds of things and stuff like that.
Right.
He called me up one day, 20-something years ago, and when he was suing them and wanted me to be a witness. And I said, sure.
Yeah.
Because we weren't trying to destroy the land. We're trying to grow grass, and, you know, we're raising cattle and stuff. So my job, I mean, wasn't old enough to even drive, but I was driving on dirt roads, going out and fixing springs to get the water to the cows.
Mm-hmm.
But the burros and the horses had trampled the pipes down, and the water wasn't getting to the troughs. And it was, I'd work on them and fix them and stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
All by myself.
Yeah.
And so I was working for basically free. Summertime came around, and Ben said, you want a job? And I said, well, Mr. Colvin, I'm already working for you.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but I want to pay you during the summer. I said, okay. I said, how much you going to pay me, Mr. Colvin? And he said, $100 a month.
Fuck.
And I went, I'd never worked, I mean, I'd
Yeah.
worked, but I never got paid.
Yeah. So you just got 100% raise.
I was like, $100 a month.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget the first paycheck I got a month later. Comes Mr. Colvin. We lived in trailers.
Yeah.
And he comes out of his trailer and he comes walking over to me and hands me an envelope. And I said, what's this? He goes, well, here, open it up. I opened it up and I'm looking at the check and it was like $89 and something cents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know what to say
Got it.
because he told me he was going to give me $100 a month.
Yeah.
But my check wasn't $100.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, he starts walking to his trailer and I go, excuse me, sir. And he turns around and he goes, yeah. And I said, well, sir, you said you were going to give me $100, but my check only says like $89. He laughs and he comes walking over and he says, opens the check, to the other side. And he goes, you see this? FICA, Social Security,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I go, what's that?
Yeah.
And he goes, that's the government. And I went, the government? What are they getting my money for? They didn't work. I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why are they taking my money? He said, don't worry, you'll figure it out. He's laughing and turns around and walks off to his
That's
trailer.
hilarious. Yeah.
The first check I ever got, I'm like, what?
20%.
They took, this money that they didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm working.
20% in the 70s is crazy. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm like cowboying, but to give you an idea of how wild the cows were, and like Jack Bassett, who owns the D-Bar Western store here, he knows Ben and stuff.
That's a 4th Street guy. We need to get him to
Jack
sponsor this show, man.
I've
Talk to him for me.
I team roped with Jack
Okay.
a lot. And
4th Street, we're all about 4th Street here,
well, I helped him build his roping arena out at Painted Rock, put up lights and everything so we could rope out there and stuff. But that's another story. But anyways,
Did you have, when did the inclination for you to become an engineer happen? Was it while you were roping? Was it way farther?
no, I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah.
I'm like on my own. His family takes me in. Well, then Dud and Joyce said, you can't live here anymore. You got to find another place to live. And I was just, oh my God, I thought I was going to be here forever. So there was a kid in Tonopah, Tommy Thompson, and he was living with his aunt. I think it's his aunt. And she was a school teacher in Tonopah. And he talked to him and said, you can come live with us. I'd never met them either.
Right.
They took me in. I moved from Goldfield to Tonopah and was going into my junior year high school. And her being a school teacher, she'd seen all my records and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't a kid that applied myself. I just wanted to get out of high school, go to work, take care of myself. I've been an outlaw, what I call an outlaw my whole life. If the crowd's going left, I go right.
Yeah.
I just don't follow the crowds and what everybody says. And that's the way I've been my whole life.
Yeah.
But I finished high school. They took me in. I'm very grateful for these families that took me in that didn't even know me.
Right.
And I can't, how am I ever going to repay them?
Right, man.
I mean, it's like, what do I do? So I finished high school, go to work for the Forest Service in Tonopah, building fences up in the Tyabe Range, temporary job. And then I went to work for the Highway Department, Tonopah, doing chip jobs and stuff on the highway and stuff. And I turned around and I said, well, I'm not going to get anywhere, with this job. So I ended up quitting and moved down to Blythe, California, where my stepdad was.
Fuck.
And was actually farming cotton for, I don't know, a month or two. And I said, this isn't my life. I liked the ranching. I didn't like the farming. So I ended up moving back to Tonopah, and I got pneumonia from the cotton dust
No shit.
in my lungs. I ended up in Bishop, New Year's Eve. I'll never forget it. Everybody's out partying, and I'm in the hospital with pneumonia, and recovered from that. And there was these older guys that, I hung around with and hunted with and stuff like that, Bob Longcar, he's passed away, but he took me duck hunting the first time. I'd never hunted in my life. And we went over to Fish Lake Valley and doing duck hunting and stuff. And so he kind of became like a mentor, and he worked for the power company, had a nice house, had a nice truck. And I said, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to go to work for the power company.
Right.
So I went into the power company at the Tonopah office. It was Sierra Pacific Power at that time. I went in there every single day at 8 o'clock in the morning. The manager said, Mike, we don't have any jobs. I said, I'm coming in here every day until you hire me. And I did for like a month.
Yeah.
And they said, there's no jobs, Mike.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, you're going to hire me. I don't care if I got to clean the streets or whatever. So he finally, the manager, Maurice Van Poel is his name. He went in, come into my office, and I thought, a job? Gets on the phone, calls Reno. And he said, they'll hire you. You got to move to Reno. And I went, man, I don't want to move to big city.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving up to Reno, went to work in the construction department, probationary. We were rebuilding the flumes up on the Truckee River for the hydro stuff. And, met these older guys and stuff. And there was a guy by the name of Don Sprinkle. He kind of took me under his wing, and they called me Tonopah. They wouldn't call me Mike. They said, Tonopah, come over here, help me with this, help me with that. I was like, okay. So I met, a lot of different people through their family and stuff like that. But there was a groundman's position open in North Tahoe. It was getting to be winter time, and nobody wanted to go to North Tahoe in the winter. I'll go. Moved up to North Tahoe. The office is in Tahoe Vista by Kings Beach, and I got a little place to stay and went to work. And these older guys, most of them are all passed away now. Told them I wanted to be a lineman, so they told me I had to get hooks and a belt and stuff. And I'm like, where do I get them? And I got the hooks and belt, and they started teaching me how to climb trees first, because we used to run services through the trees up in Tahoe, secondary services. Started doing that. Then it was lunchtime. They'd say, come on, get your hooks on. Could have turned around and teach you how to climb poles and stuff. And next thing I know, they're going, go up there and hook that service up. And I'm like, okay. So I burn up a few sets of climbs, and they laughed at me and stuff, but they started teaching me. An apprenticeship came open in Reno, and they hired like 4 apprentices at that time. So I ended up moving back down to Reno and going through an apprenticeship program, and they were fast tracking us. It was a 3-year program back then, and they were trying to top us out in 2.5.
Yeah,
because they needed linemen.
Right.
So I started doing that, and
So you learned everything you know just by doing it first.
Yeah.
Crazy.
yeah,
Mike,
on the
that's
job type training. They had books and stuff. We had to go to classes, on transformer connections and pole climbing. We used to do up the top of Valley Road, and rubber gloving and stuff like that once you get to where you can start doing hot work and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I met this gal at the Shy Clown because I was hanging around with some of my rodeo buddies, because I started riding bulls in high school. It was more of a challenge, and I didn't care if I lived or died. It's like, who cares? I'm by myself. I didn't care. And I kind of started riding bulls, and the second bull I was ever on was at the Sparks High School rodeo, and I won the bull riding. I was like, big head, I'm a bull rider.
Yeah.
Stuff. And the clown came over to me. He was from Fallon, the bullfighter, and he said, man, you rode that bull like, man, you're a natural. So next bull I went to was in Eureka, and I barely made it out of the chute.
Oh, shit.
I thought, shoot, all I got to do is pull my rope and get on him. And yeah, well, I learned, no,
Yeah.
it isn't the way it worked. But I ended up rodeoing amateur, high school, and then amateur, and I was Rookie of the Year in the state of Nevada. They gave the Rookie of the Year to bareback riders, team ropers, bulldoggers, whatever. But I had won the most money that year riding bulls. And Jack Bassett sponsored His belt buckle right there, 1979. And 79, I rode in the Reno rodeo too, because I was a local, so I could get in. But and I almost rode my bull there. I bucked off the last second, but he was a real good bull too. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's another life, you know.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things I've kind of skipped over. I was in a car wreck when I was 18. There was a guy, a couple friends of mine. I didn't have a car until I was like 18 or 19 years old. And I was walking down the street in Tonopah, and they pulled up and they said, "What are you doing, Mike?" I said, "Nothing."
Yeah.
So, well, there's a big party going on out at Warm Springs. And I said, yeah, I heard about it. And this guy, Lester Pope, was dating this girl that lived out there, Christy Makeley. And they said, well, come on, you want to go with us? I said, oh, what the hell? So we'd gone to the liquor store and got a bunch of beer and whiskey and stuff. And I was sitting in the back seat drinking whiskey. We got out to Warm Springs, and there was all kinds of people and music and dancing and everything. Lester's driving about 140 on the way out there. And I'd been out there the week before, and there was cows all over the road. Back in those days, there was no fences. It was all open range. And I said, Lester, you could see the little black dots, you know. I'm like, Lester. So we went out there, got all drunked up, heading back to Tonopah, and there was a couple other crews out there from Tonopah too. And we took off, and we got past, last thing I remember, I passed out. My head went against the window going past Tommy Colvin's ranch. I call it 5 Mile. Next thing I know, I woke up sitting in the middle of a sagebrush out in the middle of the desert by myself. And I was looking around like, what in the hell am I doing out here? Where am I? Well, it was 8-10 hours later after the car wreck happened, but I guess I wandered off out in the desert. And Lester was killed instantly, and the guy in the back seat, Mike Northern, was killed instantly, and I survived. I didn't break a bone.
Whoa.
And it was like I couldn't raise my arm up, and my belt buckle was gone and my knee was all tore out, and I didn't know it, but the whole back of my shirt was gone. And I was sitting in the middle of the sagebrush looking around going, and the shadows were real long, and I thought it was getting to be nighttime, but it was actually morning.
Damn.
So I stood up and looked around like I thought I was outside of Tonopah. And anyways, I said, well, I got to go over towards those mountains over there to get to Tonopah. So I started walking. I got up top of this mountain, looked down, there was a road, and I thought it was Radar Road, but it was, what is it, 50, I think they call it, 6 or something, going towards Ely, out towards Warm Springs. And I looked at it, and so I started walking down to the road, and I couldn't keep my eyes open. And I was like, where am I? And I'd hear my cowboy boots clicking on the pavement, and then I'd be in the dirt. And I'd be on the other side of the road. And I'd go, okay, I got to lean to the right. And I'd walk and walk and walk, cut more dirt, stop. Now I'm on the right side. And I started thinking, am I dead?
Yeah.
What in the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And so I walked up to a signpost, a little reflector on it, and I punched it. Like, damn, that hurt.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I don't know what it's like being dead. Maybe you can feel things. Maybe you can walk around like a spirit and be dead. A little while later, a car comes by. And out in the desert, you can hear that motor coming for miles. And I'm like, car's coming, car's coming. So like I said, I couldn't raise my arm up any higher than my shoulder. So I'm sitting there like this, waving my arm. That engine never slowed down. That car went by me, just disappeared, sound gone. And I went, well, this is strange. What is going on? So I was walking, and I started going, what happened? And what am I doing out here? And where am I? And I said, oh, Tommy Colvin's ranch that was Ben Colvin's cousin. I said, I'll just get over there and I'll go to Colvin's ranch and see if there's anybody around. So I'm walking, and you get to the hill, and then you can see all the way across this big valley. And I hear another car coming. Same thing. Car went right by me like it was nothing. Wouldn't slow down, nothing. And I'm like, am I dead? So walking. Next thing I know, I hear a different sound. I thought it was a truck. Could hear that diesel sound. I'm like looking, trying to open my eyes and look. And I said, I'm going to stand right in the middle of the road. And if I'm dead, they'll just run me over.
Right.
Can't kill me again. And I hadn't processed, it was like, what happened? And everything was like blanked out. So finally I started thinking, man, was I in a car wreck? What is going on? What am I doing out here? And here comes this. I stood right in the middle of the road, waving my arms, and I hear the air brakes come on. Psh, psh,
Yeah.
And I kind of look up and open my eyes. It was a school bus. And the driver's like leaning over the wheel, looking at me like, I didn't know it. I had blood all over my face.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It was all scratched up and stuff. Hell, I was picking sagebrush out of my head for a month. It was stuck in my head. But I'm looking at him, and there's these kids looking at me, and I'm like, so I walk around to the door, and he was hesitant for a while to open the door. He opens the door, and I said, sir, I need to ride to Tonopah. I think I've been in a car wreck. And he just, clear, kids, come on, get in here. So I get up in there, sit right behind him, and we start going. We're heading towards Tonopah. 10, 15 minutes later, he's flashing his lights. Highway patrolman's coming out. Look for me. Because they picked up the bodies, the car, the whole 9 yards, and they said, where's Mike Lynch?
Yeah.
And the cops are all like, we didn't find anybody else.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he was in the car with him. So they were coming back out to look for me. So cop stops, bus driver stops. They load me in the car. The cop puts the seatbelt on me, and so I'm like, hey, like, slow this damn thing down, dude. Like, I think I've been in one wreck enough.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't say a word to me.
Yeah.
Drives me straight to the hospital. And, I knew people that were working in the hospital and stuff, but they wouldn't talk about
Did you know that they were gone by that time?
it. No.
No. Yeah.
I didn't, my mind is like going, what? I'm trying to piece everything together. But anyways, I knew people in there, and I started asking them, like, what happened? What's going on? Nobody would tell me nothing. Well, they told me later they didn't want me to go into shock, stuff like that. And I was like, so it's like 4 days. They're checking me out for internal bleeding and all this other kind of stuff. And they said I would have broke my ankle, but my cowboy boots turned around and saved me.
There you go.
My belt buckle was in my pocket.
Oh.
Why?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea all these different things that have happened. That was the third rollover I'd been in. The first two were kind of slow speeds. We just rolled. And I was never driving. I didn't even have a driver's license. It's always with someone else. And typically, we're always drinking. It was like, yeah. So.
Cowboy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, the drinking thing. Working construction, went to work for the power company and the stuff. And then I was down here in Reno. We go to the Shy Clown, and I meet this good-looking girl. She comes walking over to me and says, hey, cowboy, you want to dance? My two buddies are like looking at me like, shit, Mike, you better go dance with her. And I'm like, she was really, really good looking. And I was like, okay. So we went up, and I said, I don't really know how to dance. And she said, I'll teach you. Well, little did I know, she used to be married to Monty Baldwin. Baldwin family owned the Shy Clown. And that back then they owned all the grocery stores called the Warehouse Market.
Okay.
But apparently they had gotten divorced. And she was a world champion bareback rider. And tall Italian, long auburn hair. A lot of people in Reno might know her. Her name's Roxanne Gava. Her folks owned a hotel restaurant here on 4th Street years and years ago. And I'm like, what's she doing picking on me? I'm like, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I was barely getting by. And we ended up getting married. And I don't know, it lasted maybe a year, got divorced. And I don't know, a year or two later, we ended up getting married again. Or
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm like, shoot me in the head. What the hell's
Yeah.
the matter? But I mean,
Yeah.
she was a really good looking gal. I
Yeah,
mean,
redheads. I get it.
well, they asked her to post for the centerfold for Penthouse magazine.
Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah.
I'm like, did you do it? She goes, no. And I'm like, why didn't you do it? You know, like,
Yeah.
all this money and stuff. And she goes, I didn't want everybody staring at my body. You know, I was like,
Cool.
all
Yeah.
right, yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
But, I'm working at the power company and going through my apprenticeship and, get divorced and my head's messed up. So I'm out drinking all the time and trying to drown all my thoughts, in the bottom of a whiskey barrel. And I found out years later, I've looked in hundreds of them and there's no answers down there in the bottom of that whiskey barrel. But that's what I was doing. So I was afraid I was going to kill myself or kill someone else working for the power company. I quit and ended up going to work for Brown and Root down in Tonopah. They were building the molybdenum mine down there. Worked for them running heavy equipment. Ended up, we finished that job, moved to Sulphur Springs, Texas, and we're doing a mining project down there, stripping off topsoil, getting to the coal, and did that for 3 or 4 months. Used to go over to Commerce, Texas, and that's East Texas State University, I think, and ran into a bunch of bull riders and stuff out of Mesquite. I was BSing with all those boys and stuff like that, and that job was kind of finishing up, and they said, hey, we see you got electrical experience. And I said, well, lineman, but I'm not an electrician, narrowback. And they're like, well, there's a job in Wyoming. And there was no work back then. There was like, Reno was depressed. I mean, there was just no work. So I went to Little America, lived in a man camp in Rock Springs, did that for about 6 months in the middle of winter. Oh my God, froze my ass off.
Were you working at the soda ash plants?
Yep.
Okay. What were you doing at the soda ash plants?
Doing electrical work, wiring in panels and stuff like that. And
was there railroad tracks there then? Do you remember?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were building it actually to, transport the
soda ash. Yeah.
soda ash out of there. They were
Right.
building in the spur or whatever
Yep.
to the mine at that time.
Yeah. It's one of those has got like the deepest underground mine or something up there.
Yeah, it was great.
1,500 feet.
But, I'd worked union at the power company and stuff like that. When I'm working for Brown and Root, they're all non-union. And, but I met a lot of guys from all over the country that were same thing, working, trying to make a living for their families and stuff. And I ended up, my ex-wife, Roxanne, and family had moved to Fresno. I kept their house here in Reno and bought one down in Fresno and stuff. And we kind of talked and stuff and got back together. So I ended up living in Fresno and was trying to go to work for PG&E. And
The water, if you want.
thank you. Took a test with PG&E, but they didn't hire me. Oops.
You're good.
And I ended up working over in Kalinga in the oil patch doing, distribution work, wiring transformers. I was actually there when they had the earthquake in Kalinga, leveled about half the town. That was crazy.
Well, I want to ask you this. You have an insight to something that's important to my generation, right? My generation doesn't fucking know, right? What to believe. We don't trust the government, largely. You know what I mean? And something I've been wanting to ask you about is, we got new shows out like Landman. I don't know if you've seen Landman.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now you come from you're an electrical engineer. How many patents do you have?
Well, I didn't finish my electrical engineering degree.
Well, you engineer shit for electrical stuff. You're to us, you're an electrical engineer, man, But
Yeah. I was offered, I tramped all over the country, mostly in California, building power lines. I had to retake the test to be a journeyman
Right.
So 1245 is the local.
Yeah.
And I was working in Kalinga, and I went up to Walnut Creek and took the written test, and then they gave me like tying knots and all these different things. And they said, you pass.
Cool.
And I said, right on. Because I'd been through all the classes and all the stuff when I was working at the power company here. So I had what they call an A ticket.
Got it.
So I could go to work anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Worked at a 1245.
Yeah.
And worked on a 500 line. We built for San Diego Gas Electric all along the whole Mexican border.
Got it.
Flew everything in helicopters, and I'd never done any of that work.
Like San Ysidro, that area.
It was from National City, Chula Vista to the Colorado River.
Got it.
So when I first went up there, I was living up in Live Oak Springs. It's kind of close to Tecate, Mexico.
Yeah.
Stuff. And, started hanging out with all these guys and learning transmission work and learning how to work under a helicopter and stuff like that. But kind of the fast forward, I tramped all over, worked everywhere from the Mexican border to the Oregon border, all over PG&E's property, LA. I really liked working in LA. The line work and stuff was really good. It was a lot of experience and working with guys from all over the country and Canada and stuff, and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And the business rep for 1245 was Kurt Peterson. He was a journeyman lineman. He has 3 sons that are all linemen, and they're originally from Montana. Kurt kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot. And every job I went out on, cleared out on, he wanted me to be the shop steward. And I was like, me? Like, he goes, yep, I want you to. So I'd be the shop steward. If Kurt turned around and asked you to do something, you did it.
Yeah.
He was, everybody back then knew Kurt Peterson.
Yeah.
He had a memory like an elephant. It was just amazing. And his work experience, he, worked as a lineman. And so he knew. And so I had a lot of respect for him. I mean, he invited me to his house up in Palmdale, Lancaster. And I went up there for the weekend, and his wife's name was Rose. And that was my grandmother's name.
Mm-hmm.
So I remembered that forever. But he had a kind of little cottage out back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd stayed there and hung out with him for the whole weekend. He didn't have to do those. So I've just been blessed with meeting lots of good, kind people.
Yeah.
And, they took care of me. They treated me good. And I can't ever thank them enough for all these different people and the linemen that I worked with and stuff that, I'd never done it, and they knew it, and they taught me.
Yeah. Even
when I was a journeyman lineman, I've never met a journeyman lineman or anybody in the world that's done everything.
Yeah.
They just don't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with great engineers that have never climbed a pole.
Right. Exactly. And that's my point is, it's the same as the railroad. You know what I mean? It's like on the railroad, there's engineers on the railroad too, right? You know what I mean? But the guys that really know are the ones that started swinging a sledgehammer first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm the GM now, so I don't do that, but I did. You know what I mean? And
you've got the field experience,
right? So, and I still have to travel like that. So it's 100% to me. I'm always going to listen to the guy who did my job first. You know what I mean?
Well, you learn
they always
through,
know.
the experience, and
Yeah.
the older guys turn around and take you under their wing and stuff like that.
Right.
And I've learned so much from the old timers.
Right.
I remember them saying, one guy pulled me over and said, if you've come up on a job and you've never done this, you let everybody know.
Yeah.
Don't BS everybody.
For
Don't
sure.
be bullshitting the people.
Well,
because
you're
going to get yourself
You'll
killed.
die. Yeah. Somebody will get hurt.
Yeah. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So you're better off turning around. He said, there's no such thing as a dumb question.
If you don't know.
If you don't know, tell people.
So let me ask you this. The world's trying to move electric, right?
Boy, tell me.
So a question I've been curious about, because there's debate. Our infrastructure, not just in Nevada, but in the United States, cannot sustain
Worldwide.
Right. Cannot sustain a totally electric infrastructure.
It's
Is that
being-
correct?
It's being stressed
Yeah.
big time.
Right.
And especially with all the data centers and different things
Right.
that are, requiring more electricity, more juice.
Right.
And the systems aren't going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So even the government, the DOE, is looking at the reliability
Right.
of the systems that are currently in place. And a lot of them, as we all know, are old.
Right.
I
And
mean, these things have been 50 years, and things are wearing out.
why is nuclear power so taboo?
Well, I think,
And I mean, I know the obvious. I
nuclear
know Chernobyl.
weapons
You know what I'm
and-
saying, and I
yes.
know that it's. But I also
3
know,
Mile Island.
right? But I've been to the plant in Aberdeen, Washington. I've seen the reactors. And I know that those are probably the exception to the rule, but it just seems so taboo to talk about. But is it not the most sustainable long
I
term?
don't really know on the generation side that much, like coal and
Right.
the solar and the wind. But I remember in the 70s out in Lemon Valley,
Right.
they started building houses out that way, and they were putting solar panels on roofs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
this was new.
Yeah.
How are they going to last?
Solar makes sense to me.
Well, just I don't know a lot about all of it. I just hear bits and pieces.
Totally.
And
You know
all-
more than any of us, that's for sure.
well,
you know what I mean?
maybe a little,
Yeah.
but Valmy, coal-fired, Churchill,
Right.
Coal and stuff. They got to import the coal. Where's
Right.
coal come from? The mining and
Yeah.
but it's being produced here in the United States. But there's pollution issues, stuff like that. And what happens if they run out of coal? What happens if we run out of oil? There's all these questions all the time. How much oil? Well, there's another big discovery in Alaska or Saudi Arabia. I mean,
I work at all the coal plants in Wyoming as well, just north of
Gillette. Yep.
Yeah, I work at all set. What is it? There's 10 now. You know what I mean? And but what's crazy is I know where all those go. They all go to Arizona. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't make sense. And they go to the Apache generating stations in Apache, Arizona, and they're burning coal for power in Arizona that powers Phoenix and Vegas, parts of Vegas. You know what I mean? It's the infrastructure. That doesn't seem sustainable to me.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The transmission lines.
Right.
They can generate it up there, but, transporting it through the power lines, the big transmission lines and stuff like that. I mean, to build those and maintain them and stuff like that, it costs a lot of money.
Right.
So now they're talking about, from what I've read through IEEE, it's the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, they're looking at more mini type nuclear stations and stuff.
That
So
makes
not
sense.
these great big things.
You agree with that? Do you think that that's the way?
I think there's feasibility, and I think with everything, I remember when they were talking about hydrogen-powered cars and,
Yeah.
all this other
Runs on water, man.
nuclear type. It was, I'm trying
Yeah.
to think. I went to a conference, an IEEE conference 30 years ago in
Yeah.
Maryland, Baltimore, somewhere, and there was presentations done about the different types of, nuclear type power and hydrogen and different things. And it's interesting because there's always research.
Right.
I mean, going on with power all the time. What's the best thing? Solar, we got the sun.
Yeah.
Well, it's generating. Yeah. But to build those things out here in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
You know how many birds those things fry?
That too. Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of birds.
Yeah.
They fly in. The heat is so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It just cooks them.
Yeah.
They
And
drop dead. And
here-
I'm like,
here's the crazy part about this talk is it's really it's not a what do you call it? It's not a to me it's not partisan, right? It's just like I want the best for whatever I'm going to leave behind for my kids, right? You know what I mean? And that's all I think about. But it's crazy because the solar push doesn't make sense to me, and something I want to talk to you about too is I work on all the windmill manufacturing plants in
Yeah.
Colorado, and there's one in Windsor, Colorado. There's another one down south somewhere in Southern California. I work at a couple of them. It's funny seeing those things get built and put up, and I travel with all those solar people, with all those windmill people, right? And we were talking one time, and they were telling me what they need to do, and they were like, "Oh, well, we need to. We're going out and we're refilling the oil in the wind turbines." I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
People don't know.
People don't know that they have 50-gallon oil drums that get reserviced. I don't know if it's lubrication, I'm guessing, you know what I mean? And twice a year. And and they have leaks, oil leaks, just like as oil does. So what the fuck are we talking about? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. This is the shit that I'm telling you. This is why I don't trust the fucking government.
You
It's
don't
like,
hear
yeah,
all the information all the time.
yeah,
And it's that way from Washington, D.C.
yeah,
down to even our local
Yeah.
governments
Yeah.
and stuff. We don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree that there's probably a problem with output or whatever, but I've always wanted to ask somebody that knows more than me what their stance is on it. You know what I mean?
what's the solutions?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, we didn't have internet.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we were still landlines, little cord going to the wall, dial the number and stuff. Never send up a smoke signal. It's like if you wanted to turn around and talk to somebody,
Yeah.
you went and talked to them, or you wrote a letter to somebody, put a stamp on it, and mailed it to them and stuff. You didn't have all this social media and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I got friends that went to Vietnam. I think there's 5 guys I know that joined the Marines right out of high school. And those recruiters, and I'm a big proponent of our military. Don't get me wrong. Anybody that serves, I go, man, you know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service and stuff. But I don't remember how many of the 5, I think there was at least 3 or 4 became lifers.
Yeah.
And they were in the Marine Corps. And Marines are out there, come on, man, your buddy's joining and stuff. And I said, yeah, but I don't want to end up in the brig. And they're looking at me like, why
You already know you're going to break the fucking rules.
well,
Yeah.
why am I going to end
Yeah.
up in the brig? And I said, look, if you say to me, hey, you piece of shit, grunt, get your ass up that hill, I'm going to look at you and say, get your mother to go up the damn hill. I ain't going up the hill.
Yeah.
But if you said to me politely, Mike, we got to take this hill, I'd be the first one up that
There
hill.
you go. Yeah.
I will do anything for anybody.
That's why you never joined a motorcycle club, Mike.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's like,
when did you get your first Harley?
I think I was 18.
No shit, in Tonopah.
So 50 years ago.
Great. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was a Sportster.
Sportster.
Yeah, and
So
I
it
chopped,
had-
and I chopped it.
So it had the what motor was in it? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I had a BMW. I had a Triumph, but sold those. And then there was a guy in Tonopah, Richard Zybel. They called him Zeke the Freak. He turned around and built like hot rods and stuff, chopped
Okay.
tops, and
Is he still there?
I think he's passed away.
Is that shop still there?
No.
Because there's somebody that sells motorcycles right outside in Tonopah,
Yeah.
right by the Giggle Springs or whatever.
yeah.
You know.
I'm trying to think of his name.
You know who I'm talking about?
John. I'm John. I get
There's hot rods and
Yep.
bikes out there all the time.
COVID. I get COVID brain or
You're good.
open heart surgery brain or whatever
Yeah,
you
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
call it. Like all of a sudden it's like I can see him, and
Yeah.
his father was actually a school teacher
Yeah.
in Tonopah.
I saw a real 0201 T-Sport sitting out there. I'm like, how the fuck does this guy have those things, man? Yeah, it was cool.
Well, Richard
Yeah.
had a motorcycle, and he worked for the fire department stuff. And I used to just, I don't know, it interested me, the artistic side of,
Yeah.
how we were doing this. And so back then, the bikes were, long front ends,
Right.
hard tails, all that kind of stuff. And so it was like,
Awful. Just kidding.
I loved it. I still love them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it took a stock bike, and Richard turned around and did all the welding and raked the neck and
Yeah.
turned around and, we chopped it, put a hardtail on it. And
No brakes.
yeah, there was no front brake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you turned around and rode with the rear brake. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Drag bars on it.
Yeah.
But it was a Denver front end, Denver Springer front end.
Yeah.
But I thought they were from Denver, Colorado. Denver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know about Denver Mullins.
People will come here
all
from
that.
my charters and they'll go see. We'll drive by Denver choppers and they're like, "Holy fuck, he's right here in Reno." You know what I mean? Yeah.
I actually moved him from Vegas up here.
No shit.
I'll tell you that story.
Okay. All
But,
right.
I'm like running around, on my chopper and stuff, and had drag bars and painted it. And I had to do the bondoing and the neck, bond it all in. And he's teaching me about, semi-chrome and polishing the engine and stuff,
Yeah.
making it look like chrome. I just spend hours hanging out at his shop and helping him with everything. It was just interesting to me, and he was a nice guy and treating me decent. And rode that thing around Tonopah. It was like riding a horse.
Yeah, it was.
The wind in your face and
No brakes.
yeah. Whoa. It was very interesting, that whole culture and stuff. And
Yeah, man.
I'd seen, motorcycle guys from the East Coast to the West Coast and, living in San Francisco and stuff and seeing, guys running around on their bikes. And I was always like, that looks like me, it just in my heart, cowboy and kind of thing, the freedom. I got interested in it. So I had the bike for a year or two. And then one day I was cruising down the highway and a big semi came by me and I went, what am I going to look like on the hood of the front of that Peterbilt? I'm going to look like a bug,
Yeah.
And I went, better sell it. So I sold it. And I was moved up here to Reno and didn't have one for years, but knew the culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And years later, married, have a daughter, school teacher. She taught at Swope Science. I came driving in the driveway and there's Harley sitting in a Softail sitting, and I'm going, whose bike is that? I'm looking around like, what the hell is a Harley doing in my driveway? Well, I walk in and they're sitting at the table doing homework. She was tutoring my daughter. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh, this is April. And, she's, oh, hi, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And you guys are, yeah, I'm tutoring your daughter and stuff. And the wife was doing dishes or something. And I'm looking around going, so is that your motorcycle out there? And she looks at me like, yeah. Like, you got a problem with it? She's got an attitude. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't have a problem. I was just kind of surprised to see a woman, Softail, sitting in my driveway. And she goes, yeah. I said, so you've been riding long?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, quite a while.
Yeah.
Like, same thing. Like, is there a problem here? And I go, no problem. So I just kind of go do my work. And I was selling real estate at the time. And anyways, her husband rode and stuff. And so they came to us and they were having the candy dance at the same time as Street Vibrations. Said, Mike, we want to take Catherine for a ride on bikes down the candy dance. We're going to go down there with you and the wife. And I'm like, I don't know about that. She goes, what? I said, look, I know all about bikes. I got lots of friends that have bikes and people I know that are passed away and wrecks. And she goes, no. And I said, Catherine's like, my daughter's, let me ride. So I caved. I said, but here's the deal. I had a Yukon Denali. I said, I'm going to be right on your ass all the way to Gardnerville.
Okay.
And they go, deal?
Yeah.
So I am. I'm right on their ass all the way down there. And they said, well, we're going to VC, for Street Vibrations after the camp. I said, not with my daughter, you're not.
Right.
I said, I know what's going on up there. I go, no. So anyways, I follow them all the way down there. And my daughter is like, Dad, you got to buy a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I'm like, Catherine, I've had them. And I had an old picture. It was April and what's her husband's name? I just had said it. Ryan. April and Ryan.
How cool is
They're
that?
the cause. And I said, if my daughter turns into a biker chick, I'm going to kill you people.
That's what better.
I mean, tattoos and piercings. I can see it all.
Yeah.
Because tattoos were starting to get really, everybody's getting I'm like, what's the deal? I don't have any tattoos, but so that's why everybody thinks I'm a cop or something.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. But week later goes by and Catherine's like, Dad, come on, you got to go buy a bike so we can go riding. And I'm like, Catherine, you got to explain it to me. Why should I buy a motorcycle? They're dangerous. I said, there's no airbags. There's no nothing, I said, she said, it's just when you're on the bike, there's like nothing around you. You can see everything. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
She's hooked. And then she said, and the wind in your face. And I looked at her like, did April tell you to tell me that?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, she's hooked.
Yeah.
So go down to Reno Harley, turn around and bought a CVO Street Glide or something. I think it was a Road Glide, full baggers so she can't fall off the back
Yeah.
and everything. I'm like, where's the seat belt?
Yeah.
I'm strapping
Well,
her
your
in.
daughter was right.
And we went all the way up Spooner, went all the way around Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, man.
Just took our time cruising, and it was like so much fun.
Yeah.
And I just got back into it.
Yeah. I stopped being afraid of it when I accepted that's probably how I'm going to go. You know what I mean?
Well, I was like,
And I'm okay
I'm going to
with
go
that.
bull riding or
Yeah.
cowboying or
It's
being
you're,
a
you're going to
lineman.
go. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing that
Yeah.
I have so many friends, accidents. I mean, people been shot hunting by accident. People
Yeah,
have
man.
passed away. And I'm a religious guy, but I don't go to church.
I hear you.
I mean, I was raised Catholic and stuff, then came out here, and Dud and Joyce, the cowboy that took me in, they were Christians. And they didn't push it on me and everything, but every once in a while we'd be out in the middle of the desert riding, he'd say something, and I'd be like, yeah. So it took a couple of years, and I accepted the Lord again. I went, yeah, I felt like there was something missing in my life and stuff, and I turned around and did that. And I went to church, and I thought I was going to be a minister. I wanted to save the whole world. But I said, how am I going to do this? I can't afford this. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to make a living, make my truck payment. Like, I don't know, so I didn't go, and I was scared. But I also felt like there's a lot of hypocrites in church and organized religion and stuff. And I have friends that are LDS, Mormons, and they tried to convert me and stuff. And I said, I know all about it. I don't need to hear.
Mormons got it half right.
I'm like, I don't know about this, So
Yeah.
I went through a couple years of turning around and really trying to save all my friends. And they're like, Mike, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
From drinking at the bar, hanging out here and stuff. And, and then I kind of settled down and said, I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah.
But when it's your time to go, I call it, he's punching your ticket. There ain't nothing you can do.
And so that's my thought on it. And that's why I just try to not create more wreckage in my life, right? You know what I mean? So, but 100%, that's what I talk to you hear it every day when you're out riding your motorcycle. Somebody will come up to you, man, but I'd kill myself. And I'm just like, man, shut the fuck up. Because I probably will too. And that's okay. You're just scared, and that's okay. You know what I mean? But I know I'm going to go, and it's okay. I just don't worry about it, man. How about just ride your motorcycle and see exactly what your daughter was talking about, the beautiful things that you're not going to experience sitting in a bubble in a car. You know what I mean? But it's like
It's like being on a horse.
It is, man. And it's like I've drove every inch of Nevada, right?
That's
I've
cool.
drove every single road from north to south. There's not one place I've not been to in Nevada working on the railroad.
Getchell.
You know what I mean? Except for, don't even know where the fuck that is. Yeah. Yeah. But I've been everywhere else.
Belmont and
Belmont,
Manhattan.
Gabs,
Been
everywhere.
Manhattan?
Yeah, Manhattan, down,
Yeah.
what do you call it? Caliente, you know what I
the
mean?
ski,
Yeah, all that. So, I mean, anywhere that you have to drive to go get to the railroad, you know what I mean? Except for Area 51 in Groom Lake, something I'm waiting on someday. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
they got armed guards and stuff out there
Yeah.
now. It's like,
yeah, so I went to Rachel, and then they were like, you can go to the gate. And I'm like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to see Rachel. But what I was getting at is you can go to all these places in a car until you do it on a motorcycle.
it's totally different.
It's totally different. It's just, and also I could watch a fucking movie in my car and probably be, you know what I'm saying?
But you have to have your full undivided attention. You know what I mean? And who's the author?
On a bike, yeah.
Who's the author, man? Who's the guy that wrote? Who's the guy that followed the Hells Angels around?
Oh, Hunter S.
Hunter S.
Thompson?
Thompson writes
Yeah.
a lot about riding motorcycles, and I feel like his depictions of riding motorcycles is great. You know,
I haven't read all his stuff. It's more, you have to experience it, right?
you do, yeah,
I mean, people can talk about it, do movies about it.
Yeah.
All these different things. But you have to turn around and it's like riding a horse and cowboying. I can tell you all day long about riding bulls and stuff. And I went to John Quintana's
Yeah.
bull riding school in Redmond, Oregon.
but until you do it,
Until you do it, it's like I said, you climb on the back of an 1,800-pound bull. And
Yeah.
John told us, he said, you cannot ever picture yourself getting bucked off. Ever. You can ride 1,000 bulls in your head. And he really taught a lot about mental stuff, because you don't climb on the back and say, I'm going to get bucked off. You're going to get bucked off. So he said, the moment you feel that you've lost that edge where you're invincible, quit. Because this is a business. One mistake, you're done.
Right.
And there was a kid, Mick Whiteley. He was in like top 15 or 20 in the world. He was from Oregon. I'd met him. Really nice kid, could ride a bull too. And he got killed down in Forum Rodeo in Inglewood. And I mean, it just almost broke my heart.
Yeah.
I was like, this kid could have been a world champion. And they didn't have the vests and helmets. And that was just kind of coming out when I rode. But a bull turned around, stepped on his chest, collapsed his lungs. He's gone. You know, but how many people do you know that have been on a motorcycle and his car pulls out in front of them? It's like, it's gotten worse with all the texting and the music and the radios, and everybody's on their phones and all those things of technology. And where's it going to go with AI and all this other crap?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So
it
like
is
you said,
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy to have lived through no cell phones, to being able to get, you know,
it's a
an
computer.
answer,
It's a computer.
a
now.
real like a human AI in your pocket. It's crazy to have.
Talk to stuff.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. Yeah,
Like
I
this.
was born in '92, so I did. I was born in '92. So in '92, you know, we didn't have internet. I didn't have internet till middle school. You know what I mean? And so we're the last generation that doesn't. I feel like that, because my kids don't know. My kids have had iPads and shit. You know what I mean?
I see it all the time on TikTok and
Yeah,
all this
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
talking about the older generations.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the 70s and 80s. And I'm going,
Yeah.
what about the 50s and 60s?
No, I wish I could have seen it. You know, I wish I could have lived in Reno in the '60s and the '70s, and I wish I could have seen.
That's when I first moved here. Was in
Do you remember what this
63,
building was by any
64?
chance?
No.
No. I've asked a lot of people. I've asked Troy, you know.
I just remember driving all the way across the country and seeing, you know, Nebraska and Kansas and Ohio, all the farms and flat, you know, the
Yeah.
sun comes up like, wow, where's the curvature in the earth and
Yeah.
stuff. But then going through the Rocky Mountains and then pulling into Reno, we went by John Esquaga's Nugget and they just had light bulbs. They didn't have all the LED lights, all that stuff. And I was like, they're flashing. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a circus. It's like a carnival or something. I was like, what is this? We pulled into some motel and, you know, spent a week or so. And Interstate 80, you know, was 4th Street. That's why all these motels and stuff are here. And, you know, there's a few bars, I guess, that are Elbow Room that's still around from when I was
Yeah.
out drinking and stuff all the time.
The Elbow Room was around then?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. One I used to go to was Diggers. It was further down on 4th Street.
Yeah.
But the Nugget, you know, was like going to the Oyster Bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
used to go in there every Friday night.
Yeah.
Turn around and have dinner and
What
stuff.
about what's the Italian joint right here in Sparks? Casel's Casellas?
I think it was Casellas was there, Caselli's or whatever they
Caselli,
call
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few.
The Halfway Club, yeah.
Yeah.
I know this building was built in 1902.
Isn't that amazing?
It is crazy. And I've asked a lot of people, and they can't seem to place it because that was Ruben's Cantina. You know what I mean? But they can't, I'm sure this was some kind of store, but I'd love to have like an old picture and try and track it down somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't
the
even know how to
Arch,
do
the
it.
Reno Arch,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
downtown, the Mapes,
Yeah.
the Riverside,
Yeah.
all those old hotels and casinos.
I love hearing Jay talk about, or Jay posts
Yeah.
and he'll write about
Yeah.
old Reno, and I love reading it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
I was only in Reno, younger days, a short period of time, because then I ended up living in Silver Peak and Goldfield and Tonopah, and then I ended up, when I came working construction, I got tired of tramping. I was actually working in Connecticut. I went back to see my relatives, and they were paying linemen to go back there, so I paid vacation. So I went back and worked in Connecticut for about 3 months. And visited all my relatives that I hadn't seen in 20 years.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen my dad in 20 years.
Yeah.
He didn't even recognize me, being
Yeah.
from 13 years old to 30.
Yeah.
He was like, so it was interesting. I made it back for the New Haven St. Patrick's Day Parade,
Oh, man.
and he was the Grand Marshal,
Badass.
did all that stuff. But I was drinking a lot back then.
Yeah.
And he had quit and got into AA.
Cool.
And helping other people and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And, well, but that's cool. Hey, you're doing something, good, but you didn't help me.
Yeah.
I've been on my own forever.
There's a joke about Irish people quitting drinking. I can't remember it. I was trying to remember it, but
Well, one guy that I know, he said, because my daughter just graduated law school in New York City.
Your daughter did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She went to CUNY. City University, New York is the #1 public interest law school in the nation.
Badass.
So she was interning with the Legal Aid Society, and she just wrote, last year and a half ago, she wrote a 347-page clemency report for this guy.
Yeah.
Has been locked up 20 years. He got 20 to life. And he went in when he was a kid, and he's been doing nothing but good in prison. But the system doesn't turn around and reward you for these things.
I hear you.
And he probably should have never went to prison anyways. But so she's been doing that intern. They offered her a position and she accepted it. And so now she's in training.
Cool.
With legal aid. So she'll be doing criminal defense.
Badass.
Yeah.
Give
so
her our
like,
number. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, it's like Jesse Coulter's always asking, it's like, oh my God, she's already in court?
Yeah.
Like in law school?
In
and
New York.
In
Yeah.
New York. I
Yeah.
mean, I went to criminal court in Manhattan, the same one Trump went to, on a Sunday. There's people, not a lot, but there's the judge and people and cops everywhere. And the attorneys all came over and talked to the girls. You're in law school, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're a 1L, they call them, first year law. And I'm just sitting there listening to all this stuff. Criminal court in Manhattan is open from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. 7 days a week.
Nuts.
I'm like, this is like 7-Eleven. I'm like, what? This is open all night, all day, all night. My daughter told me they busted a guy for stealing a cup of coffee. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I would have bought him the coffee. Even if I was a cop, I would have said, excuse me, are you hungry too?
Yeah.
Can I get you something to eat? The money they're going to spend incarcerating him and going through the process, the taxpayers, it's like ridiculous in my opinion.
The people in the East are just different. It's just the first time I truly got on the road and started traveling, the people are so different. Because in Nevada, these are kind people, right? You know what I mean? They're kind, good, like, and then you get kind of the Midwest, and it's kind of like these are angry people, but they'll still help you. You know what I mean? And then you get to it's like, and then you get to the East, and they're angry and they won't help you. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's
so like,
walking down
you
the
know what I
street,
mean?
and it's just you could be laying there dying, and they just walk right over.
It would.
You.
Yeah,
I
it's
swear to God.
it's a reason why I do love it here.
It's a different environment. The people there.
So when did you get your first patent?
So
So and
I'll
maybe
I'll
maybe let
back up.
our audience know what the patent is. Yeah.
What I started, I got tired of tramping. I called my buddy,
Hold on 1 second. Will you pause that real quick? I got to use the bathroom. Do you need to use the bathroom? You have things that need to be said. I will, part of the goal here, I think, with our show is to capture
the essence.
the essence and the generations before us and have it forever. You know what I mean? Because it's
Well, I've been through the mental stuff. My mother was a registered schizophrenic.
oh shit.
Right down here on 4th Street, lived over in some government things over by the Livestock Events Center.
Yeah.
I mean, literally pushing a cart down the street talking to her imaginary friends.
Yeah, man. Me too.
And that's not the way
Yeah.
I remember my mother, but it
Right.
was like, and I've been to a psychiatrist and
Yeah.
been evaluated and
Yeah.
went through all this mental stuff and like, am I fucked up?
I've had drug induced, I don't know, they called it something where I've psychosis is where I've but I was also 19, 18. I was a
Your
child.
brain's not fully developed.
It wasn't, so it
till
was even
25.
worse. And then it was like
25 years
yeah,
old.
and then sleep depressed. I mean, man. And the other thing is it's Reno, where it's the
24/7.
and the drug dealers are open longer. That's
Never stops.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. So it's like
No.
the bars are open 24/7 and the drug dealers work longer hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't, I mean, even at 18 I could find whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, however you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It could be a Tuesday at fucking 8:00 in the morning. I could find it, and it's and I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I mean, it is a sad thing, but it's also a beautiful thing because our recovery groups here in Nevada it's not a competition, but I mean it's different than any other place in the what is wisdom but
You ever hear of a guy
suffering,
named
you know what I mean?
Diaz Dixon?
I have not.
Diaz ran the Step 2 program.
Oh, Step 2? Yeah.
Yep.
I've done meetings there.
And I met him through Dave Carter, who was the head basketball coach at Nevada.
Oh, okay.
They were into golfing and all this kind of stuff. Well, when did meth come out? Like 30 years ago? It was like it started on the news.
Yeah,
It was like, they was like talking like
Yeah.
meth, how bad it is. And I'm going, what is meth?
Yes, I was a
Man.
connoisseur.
I had no idea. I was
Yeah.
like, so I called Diaz up and I knew he's the head guy at Step 2 and stuff. And we had coffee at Starbucks and I asked him, I go,
Yeah, what's this shit?
Well, he went to school like in Ohio to learn about these substances
Right.
and the brain and the chemical.
Oh, was this the professor at UNR?
No, he
No,
wasn't
no.
a professor.
Okay, there was a professor from UNR who made LSD or something. I don't know. Yeah, but no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so
My
he schooled you.
psychiatrist taught at UNR
Yeah.
at the medical school.
Yeah.
World famous. He's written books on psychiatry.
Okay.
What's that movie, Beautiful Mind?
Yeah.
With Russell Crowe,
Yeah.
and he played Dr. Nash.
Yeah.
Who won the Nobel Prize or whatever it was for
Right.
mathematics. He knows him personally and his wife. And I had numerous conversations with him about all this stuff. But anyways, I was working in Connecticut, called my buddy. He said, they're looking for a lineman in North Tahoe. And I said, been there, done that.
Yeah.
He said, Battle Mountain. And I said, no, no thanks.
Yeah.
And he said, Tonopah, your old stomping grounds.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, who died?
Yeah.
Because there's no jobs.
Right.
They're all filled. And I went, what? So who died? So I ended up getting on the phone, calling the office, talked to the area service managers, Maurice Van Poel at the time. And he said, where are you? And I said, Connecticut. And he goes, oh. I said, I'll be there in 3 days. I made it in 2.5.
Yeah, man.
Walked in the next morning, drug up, loaded up my dog, told my aunt and uncle, I got to go. And they're like, oh, well, I got to go. This is my life. This is what I do. Drag up, go. Drove cross country, pulled in Sunday evening. Monday morning, I was sitting in the office. And he walked out and he's like, oh my God. And I said, I'm here, ready to go to work. And he goes, well, you got to go take the drug test and the lineman's test, in Reno. And I go, no problem. Came up to Reno, took the drug test, passed, took the lineman's test, aced it. From what I was told by the engineer, he goes, "Did you cheat?" I was like, "How
Just
am I
been doing it.
how
Yeah.
am I going to cheat?"
Yeah.
You know, but it's all written stuff and everything. And he goes, "Well, you're the only guy that's ever got 100." And I said, "Really? Well, whatever. Who cares? As long as I passed, I got the job."
Yeah.
Worked in Tonopah for like 3 or 4 months, and they wanted a troubleman, they call it, out in Round Mountain. And I had friends that were living out there and team roping and stuff at Carver's. And I went, "I'll go."
Yeah.
Well, you got to bid the job. So I didn't have any seniority, but I put in for the job. Nobody wanted to go to Round Mountain, so I went. I was out there 6.5 years, living the best life. I mean, it was like team roping all the time. We're just having fun. I'd go fly fishing and stuff. There was 2 ponds down at what they call Hadley. The mine had built a whole new town of Hadley, with a runway and everything for the plane flying in from Canada to the gold mine for all the executives and stuff. But yeah, I was the only guy. So I covered everything pretty much from Austin to Silver Peak to Goldfield, Tonopah when I was on call. Lights went out. I got the call. Away I went. And it was real good. But I was drinking every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital with a hemorrhaging stomach.
Fuck, man.
Blood coming out everywhere. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it's 4 days in the hospital with a hemorrhaging stomach, and they told me I need to quit drinking. And the doctor's looking at me and going, do you eat, Mike? And I go, I'm on a liquid diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I experienced all that.
It's the most
kind of
Tonopah
stuff.
shit I've ever heard. Yeah.
But I quit for like 2 or 3 months, and then I had a bad day, went to the bar, drank a bunch, ended up back in the hospital. New doctor. He was from UCLA Medical Center, cancer department, and really, really brilliant. He's up here in Reno now, I think, teaching or something. He may be retired. But anyways, he said, I don't think you realized how serious this was, Mr. Lynch. And I went, yeah. He said, if you're not bleeding now, but your body's had like an allergic reaction to the alcohol, something's going on. And he was actually the first doctor to discover hantavirus in the state of Nevada. It was like, wow. So I turned around and he said, if you start bleeding, you might bleed out. You won't make it from Round Mountain to Tonopah. And if you do make it, major surgery, staple your stomach.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I kind of started backing off all the drinking and stuff like that. So I've been there, done that. But I was talking to, I blew my knee out second time. First one was high school football. That's a different story. But I tore my ACL playing City League basketball, went over to Bishop, had it operated on, and was laying on the couch. Called the supervisor in distribution engineering. Long story short, he said, why don't you come up here and work? We'll pay you subsistence. And I went, shit, that's free money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to come back up to the city. Ended up staying. The vice president of electric engineering, Reeve Fagg, who's from Winnemucca and Battle Mountain, by the way, and worked in Getchell.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We put it all together.
Cool.
But he said, gave me all these special projects to work on, and I'd come up with solutions. So I'm not afraid to call engineers at PG&E, Edison, wherever, and that I knew. And he said to me one day, you should have went to school and been an engineer. And I said, yeah, maybe, but I like working outdoors.
Yeah.
Doing my own thing. Anyways, I said, what are you doing? You're offering me a deal? He goes, yeah. And I went. So I talked to all my buddies, and they said, Mike, you'd be a fool not to take him up on this offer. But I had to give up everything. Team roping and my free.
Yeah.
I was single.
You had to grow up a little bit.
I was like 35 at the time, and I'm like 34, and I'm like, I'd never been to college. All I wanted to do was get out of school.
Yeah.
So I had to start at bonehead math, bonehead English, but I was working, going to school. They let me go whenever I needed to go. So I'm just trying to make a living. Sold my horses. I had a couple of them. Sold my horse trailer, my truck. Just became a student, TMCC. And I'm working, and that's where I did that for about 6.5 years. I was getting ready to transition from TMCC over to university in
Yeah.
Nevada, and we started into a merger with Nevada Power in Vegas. HR person walked in one day and said, "Got to fill out a new resume." I said, "For what? I already got a job." She goes, "You might not have one."
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you talking about?" So she said, "Your job's moving to Vegas." And I said, "If I wanted to be in Vegas, I'd already be there. They'd offered me a job." And I knew a lot of linemen that were working down there, construction. And I said, "No." I said, "I think I'll take the severance." So I'd just recently gotten married, and I turned around and took my severance and went into real estate. But just prior to that, the biologist came in with a bird guard and his cover, put on the insulators and the conductors protect birds.
Right.
And I looked at it and I wouldn't code it
Right.
for a couple different reasons.
Yeah.
It's going to cause more problems than it's going to solve. We're not
Yeah.
trying to kill birds.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd shoot them.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
So that's what led into, I quit. I was sitting on the deck one night eating dinner, and I went, I should work on that. I should try and figure out a way to make it better. And so I just started. It was like a model airplane.
Yeah.
Playing with Legos. I was like, how the hell would you do that? So I'd been involved in a lot of engineering stuff up to that time, insulator failures, underground cable, all these different things. And so that's how it kind of started. I was like, So I called these engineers at PG&E and said, "Are you guys looking for this?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, why didn't you code this manufacturer or this manufacturer?" And they said, "We don't like them." Same reasons I didn't like it. And I went, "We're on the same page." And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to figure it out." And they said, "We want to see it." And I'm like, "Really?" They went, "Yeah." So after like 3 or 4 prototypes, I'd go down to Livermore. PG&E has a huge training center there. I'd show it to them. They said, "Leave it with us." They'd hand it to the apprentices. "Put it on, take it off. Put it on, take it off." And we're talking about materials and the design. Finally, one day they said, "That's what we want right there." I said, "Oh, God, thank God. Now I can go back to my job of selling real estate because I got to pay my bills."
Yeah.
And they said, no, hold on, Mike. It's your design. You made it. You make it, and we're buying it from you. And I looked at him. I said, "We all know each other. I don't have a manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
How am I going to do this?" They said, "Figure it out."
So you became a business owner pretty much overnight.
It was like,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, "How many are you going to buy?" And they said, "We don't know. This is a new product for PG&E." And I went, "Okay." So snowing on Donner Summit, I'm walking back to my truck and I'm thinking, God, I just want to get home. I want to get over the pass. One engineer, Charlie Poston, looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Mike," he said, "you need to patent it." I looked at him and I said, "What?" "It's a bird guard. Christ, somebody give me a break."
Yeah.
He goes, "Trust me, Mike, the big guys are going to steal your ideas." And I went, how am I going to do this? I don't have any money. So I got back to Reno, Yellow Pages. I'm looking for patent attorneys. I found one, met with him. I'm like, so I ended up putting it on my credit card, file the patent, and it just started. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, manufacture it and stuff. So I just started figuring it out.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, so that's another whole story, but
That's cool.
that's how it started. The first patent was Charlie Poston telling me to apply for a patent. PG&E put in an order for like 1,000 of them. And I went,
Yeah.
Then they said, "We need you to design this."
Yeah.
Those cutout covers. And I'm like, I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
So, because there wasn't anybody really making cutout covers. So I started designing those. Same thing. Came up with the design, a couple iterations, and PG&E said, "This is it. We like it. We're putting it on every single cutout that goes out the door." And I'm like, "How many is that?" And they said, "This one style, about 50,000 a year."
Mhm.
And I went, 777. Hit the jackpot. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Yeah.
It's like, so start
Did you
manufacturing.
did you stop doing real estate, or were you always just doing real estate for fun?
No, I had 2 jobs,
Got it.
working nights, trying to figure this stuff out,
Yeah.
selling real estate during the day.
Is it commercial, or were you doing everything?
I started doing residential with the wife because she was doing it and stuff, needed help. But then I transitioned over to commercial.
Cool.
Because that was more like engineering,
Yeah, man.
numbers,
Yeah.
internal rates of return, and all these other things. It was like much more business engineering, interesting.
Yeah.
You know, of why does somebody buy a business? Why do they build a factory?
Yeah.
It was like, you know, selling apartment buildings and different things. So it was very interesting.
Yeah.
But then I think it was 2007. I told the wife, I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't work 2 jobs. I said, I'm killing myself. I have my own gold mine. I need to dig my own gold.
Yeah.
So I just went into doing the bird guard stuff 100%. And I told her, I said, I'm making enough money. You can quit. Be a stay-at-home mom with our daughter, who was a young child at the time. And she was like, oh, you know, scared because she didn't understand the business. And I said, once utilities code you and it works and there's no problems, they just order.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just starts. So it just word of mouth.
Yeah.
I don't have any salespeople that work for me. I'm a one-man company.
Yeah.
I work from home. I don't have my office is in my house. I use half the garage for my shop.
Yeah.
And doing designs and prototypes and SLAs, they call it, 3D printed products. And I have the insulators and all the different things that I need to look at and see how it fits, and utilities, word of mouth.
Wow.
It just started. You know, next thing I know, Pacific Core and Rocky Mountain Power, you know, ordering products and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how the hell did this happen?
Yeah, man.
So I didn't get any loans from banks, nothing.
Right.
I took in a partner from California. I gave him 50% of the company. I said, you go sell it, handle the manufacturing, do all this, and I'll just do the engineering and design work. And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
So we utilized his company for credit. He didn't put up any money, not a dollar. Filled out the credit forms. The manufacturer over in Sparks turned around and looked at it and said, yep, that's good enough for us. And they started manufacturing them.
Wow.
And we started shipping them to PG&E. So I don't have a warehouse, any of that stuff.
Wow.
They make them and ship them, make them and ship them.
Wow.
But the volume got so big, we couldn't thermoform them. I had to go to injection molding. And I was like, how do we do that? So that was another whole learning process. And I'm still learning today.
So it's just a matter of there's going to be problems, and it's just kind of how you deal with them, kind of thing.
Well, if there are issues, I mean, there's only been a few issues with some of our products.
Yeah.
And I've sold over 1.5 million cutout covers to utilities from Massachusetts, the Midwest, mostly the West Coast. But they're on, I mean, I was in Huntington Beach driving to go have breakfast with my daughter, wife, and I looked up, beach is on this side, power line over there, and there's my covers. She went to school at Chapman University in Orange. We're going for orientation, trying to find a parking spot park. I'm walking down the street. I look up. There's my covers right there. I took pictures through my cell phone, and it actually says the address Chapman University. And I went, how cool is that?
That is cool.
Santa Cruz. I've been San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm right in the middle of San Francisco by UCSF, and my daughter's checking the school out, and I walk outside, take a break and have a chew, and I'm looking up. Oh my God, there they are.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz. Walked out by the pier. We got there at night. Walked out the next morning, and I looked up. There they are. There they are. There they are. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Mike, having you on is just is special in a way that you're not going to understand. I think we're going to need to have you on a couple more times if you're okay with that. You know what I mean? Just to talk about whatever, man. We love having you. Do you have any advice for our generation with life experience that you've put together, man? You're an entrepreneur. You're a Reno native. You know all the same people as me. You know what I mean? Which people will put that together, you know, and that's a beautiful thing, you know. But I think that, like I said, I think that the most profound thing that we can hear from you is advice on what to do now. You know what I mean?
I'm not a business person. I didn't take any business classes,
Right.
but I obviously was starting a business. So I started reading about like the Harvard Business Review.
Yeah.
Sitting in an airport, was doing testing on a couple of my prototypes back in 2001, I think it was, and in Atlanta, a high voltage lab. And I was sitting in the airport, and I'm waiting for my plane, went over to the gift shop looking around. There was Harvard Business Review, and I'm like, the title was something about business and I went, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Started reading it. And it said General Motors, Ford, IBM, all these companies, they don't make the products. I didn't know that. The engines, the transmissions, the rear ends, the fenders, back then there wasn't chips and these things, but somebody else makes it. They just assemble it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I looked at that as a business model.
Yeah.
But it was through the engineers I know, they said, Mike, you're what makes you different from a lot of engineers is you're curious, your inquisitiveness. You really think about stuff and really dig in and analyze it and learn about it versus that a guy just has a job and has a job to do and he's told what to do and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And he goes home at night. You really delve into things. And I said, yeah, I don't know why. I've asked my psychiatrist, I said, do I have Asperger's? And he's like, we don't call it Asperger's anymore. It's another higher form of autism. And
Yeah.
I'm going, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, I analyze everything and everybody around me. I can't shut my brain off like that. Sometimes I can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I'm visualizing things in 3D.
Yeah.
So I use a software program like SolidWorks to design products. I have other people that are designing, send me the files, and I'm looking at it, and I just question everything.
Good.
But the one thing that I try to live my life by, and it's from all the old timers, people that have taken me in when I was a kid. I didn't have nothing, and they treated me well, with respect. And so I try to do the same thing with everybody I meet in life is I don't know you. I don't know what kind of person you are. I don't care. I treat them with respect. And if they treat me with respect, we become friends. And something an old timer told me, he said, how many friends do you have, pal? And I said, well, God, I don't know. I've worked with so many different. He goes, let me explain the difference between an acquaintance
Right.
and a friend. He said, you'll be lucky in your entire life if you can count them on one hand. Friend. And he's an older guy, and I'm listening to him, you know, like, where are we going? This is getting deep. Like what? He goes, I'm going to tell you what a friend is. He said, he has your back. I don't care night or day. You call him at 3 a.m, he answers the phone.
Yep.
And he said, but it works both ways.
Right.
He said, if you tell a friend that you're going to help him move and you've been out partying all night and you're drunk on your ass, you show up.
Yeah.
You gave him your word.
Conviction.
It's your word. And I learned that Cowboy and on ranching. We'd go over and help another rancher brand all day, 2 to 3 days. I didn't get paid.
Mm.
You do it to help somebody.
Yeah.
They need help. You help them. So the old timers, the ranchers and stuff, they all helped each other. They wouldn't steal a cow from somebody. They'd say, this has got your brand on it. You know, we'll hold it for you. They might deliver it to the rancher. And it's that way in life, working in construction and stuff. You're working with people from all over, different things. I've worked with people that have just got out of prison.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm a kid, and I'm like, what was he in prison for? Don't ask.
Yeah.
Mike, it's like the Vietnam vets. You don't sit there and go, what was it like being over there?
Yeah. How many people did you kill? Yeah. Right.
What is
Yeah.
your experience?
Yeah.
You let them tell you the story if they want to talk about it. So I learned all these things from the old timers that I worked with about life. And so I try to treat everybody with kindness. If I can help in some way, I don't care if it's a humane society or different things. I've made donations. I sit on the board at DRI, the Desert Research Institute, because I see what's going on in the environment. Is there something we can do? Oil, coal, nuclear, everything kind of ties together, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And what's the cause and effect? As human beings, I go, yeah, we create a lot of things. Internet. Oh, yeah. What was the internet created for? Military, communications.
Yeah.
Now you got social media and kids are all over it and they're bashing each other and posting things about their supposed friends that aren't really their friends and saying things. And next thing you know, you find out some kids committed suicide and it's tied to this bullying and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, it's crazy. And yeah, just
So what can we do as human beings?
be kind to one another.
Be kind to one another. Can we treat each other with respect? Can we turn around and I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. With the politics and all these different things, I'm like, you want to be gay? I don't care. I'm not God.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of the Bible, not all of it, but it's like, judge not, you will not be judged by your Father, which is in heaven. I go,
yeah,
I'm not judging anybody.
Yeah, the world isn't as polarizing as it's made to be seen, as it's made to be look. It's not as polarized because I travel.
You meet a lot of people.
And I meet a lot of people, and I don't agree with a lot of people a lot of the time, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We can disagree, but I don't
Absolutely.
have to kill you.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have to chop your head off
That's right.
because of your beliefs.
For sure.
We can still.
Yeah, nature or nurture is a reason why anybody thinks the way they do, right? So it's like,
Yeah, why can't we be friends?
yeah, for sure.
You know what? Totally disagree,
Yeah.
but I don't have to turn around and shoot you.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what? He's voicing his opinion.
Yeah.
You may not agree with him, so you don't agree with him.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I don't agree with inherently, and they're radical, and it's fine, but I agree with their right to say whatever because this is fucking America. You know what I mean?
This is our freedom.
Yeah, anyone that says anything, I
Freedom
agree
of
with your right to
speech.
say
You
it.
know, it's like, do I agree with someone burning the flag? No.
Well, same with being a biker. Is like there's places in the world where it's outlawed to wear a patch,
I
which
can't
is the
believe
craziest
it.
shit. And
I'm like,
and that's protected under our First Amendment and our right to assembly, our right
yes.
to.
And so if you're going to take those rights away, then what rights are you going to lose?
There's people in England that go to jail for Instagram posts.
I just
You know what I
like
mean?
all
That's just crazy.
all this craziness of things that's what, thank God that I was born in America.
Yeah.
But the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all these things, I'm like, wait a minute, it's not one-sided. It says I can stand up and say whatever I want.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to throw me in jail. But then who's the nighttime host? Kimmel?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't even watch any of that stuff.
Right.
But it's all over the news. Kimmel will turn around and this and that. I'm going, well, he should be able to say whatever he wants.
He should.
But if I was in a club and I got a cut on, I should be able to wear that cut wherever the hell I want. That's nobody's business, this, that, right? Now, if I break the law,
I hear you.
That's different.
Yeah.
Whether I have a cut or I don't have a cut.
Right.
It's like, so I don't agree with these laws or interpretations of laws on why it's kind of segregated. Like, oh, you're in a motorcycle, you're in a gang.
Yeah.
And I've got friends that were retired cops and they've looked at me and said, what are you doing hanging out with these guys, Mike, and stuff like that? And I said, they're my friends.
Yeah.
I said, they have invited me to parties. Oh, they're just going to embezzle money from you. You have a business and all that. And I said, well, excuse me?
Yeah.
I said, you're looking at it from law enforcement side. I'm telling you, nobody has ever turned around and tried to embezzle money from me.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And I said, and I've never seen anybody do any illegal
Yeah.
activities or whatever. And that's why I've asked members, like, I don't understand all the fighting and everything between the clubs and all these different
Yeah.
things. What is it? Is it
Well-
drugs? Is it women? Is it guns?
For sure.
Per what you hear.
Yeah. And really, like, to
No,
me,
it's
this is
not.
the last breed of real men, and it's cowboy shit too. It's
ca-
cowboy stuff
It's
because
like Jesse James.
because it is
yeah.
when we have a disagreement and we can't figure it out, we'll step in the backyard, and that's a part of being a man that I think is dying.
That's
And-
what I believe in.
and-
And I go, hey,
and guess what? We're not
let's
going to
talk-
shoot each other
let's talk
because
about it.
we go fight in the backyard. You know what I'm saying?
In the
So
old
that's-
days, they used to say,
Yeah.
you had a disagreement with a guy in the bar, you went outside and handled it,
I think that's
and then you'd go back in the bar and buy him a drink.
right.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what I believe
And I've
in.
been on the other side of that. I've had my ass kicked and had them buy me a drink. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on
Exactly.
both sides of it.
It works both
So,
ways.
and it does.
So it's like
Yeah.
being men.
It is.
That's what I look at it and say. I've had nothing but respect from people who've, served in the military, to lawyers, to doctors. I have friends in every different profession you can possibly think about and stuff. But
Yeah.
that's just me. I turn around and I stay in my lane. I do my own thing. I work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
But I enjoy what I do.
There you go.
It's like,
So don't feel like we're,
it's a 4-letter word. So I
Yeah.
always say work, like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy what you're doing,
Yeah.
and it's making the world a better place, I mean, what else can you ask for?
That's it, man.
I go, people like say
Yeah.
to me all the time, you work 7 days a week. I go,
Yeah. And just to touch on what you were saying is the people that the people that you're saying is like the club people. It's like these people to me are the truest definition of what you were saying is friend.
right.
That friend thing is if you get a friend, like, these are people that taught me that it's not an expendable word. They don't want anything from you in return. That's the definition of a friend to me. And the people that have embodied that most in my life are dudes that ride motorcycles. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the
And
closest thing to Cowboys that
Yeah.
I go, very similar. And, there's like this, I've heard, Cowboys don't like bikers, bikers don't like Cowboys. And I'm like, why? Wait a minute. This is
they're the
it's
same
the same
people.
culture.
Yeah, it is.
This is,
Yeah.
the freedom,
Yeah.
the wind in your face,
Yeah.
you're out on that bike and
Yeah.
stuff. It's like being on a horse. You get
Yeah.
bucked off out in the middle of the desert.
Bon Jovi said it was a steel horse. So yeah.
That's right. I love that song. I love
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's that culture and stuff of whatever it is, but I have doctors, friends that I played golf with and stuff. And,
Yeah.
I've given them golf clubs.
Yeah, man.
It's like if it helps them with their game, play better, makes their life easier, happier. Here, I'll give you the whole
That's
set.
true.
I've
Yeah.
donated more golf clubs than probably anybody in this town.
There you go. And I've never shot under 100. So,
See, who cares?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
It's that. It's like getting on a bike.
Yeah.
Some people could say he's not taking the corner right or something. It's like, who cares? It's what I do.
Yeah.
So
Well, Mike, I really appreciate you coming on. We're going to have you back on, and I can't wait to talk to you more. I just want to say thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us.
I've
my
never
friend.
done anything like this in my
Cool.
life. So this is, like I said,
It's important.
oh my God.
There's a reason why you're here.
Oh, so,
You know?
well, that's what I thought.
You wouldn't be here if it wasn't. You know what I mean?
If it can help somebody,
Yeah.
or they have a question,
Yeah.
of whatever, they can get a
Yeah.
hold of me and
We'll send them smoke signals.
whatever
Yeah.
it might be, whatever it might be, it's
Yeah.
like all I can do is give you my experiences,
It's important.
and that's kind of, I don't, my father was an alcoholic, my mother was a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Registered. I mean,
Yeah.
pushing a shopping cart down on 4th Street here.
Yep.
Turning around and talking to her imaginary friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what happened to my mother? What? She get some bad acid over in Frisco when we were living over there. I'm going, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, people go through things in life, difficult times and stuff. And if we can be there to help each other and support each other and, instead of saying, "Hey, you should have, done this or done that," I mean,
Let's just be kind to one another.
yeah, and live
Yeah.
your life by example.
Right.
I've had people say I should write a book. All the different things that I've gone through in my life and
Sure.
how they're like, how did you do this, Mike? You get this business and you're selling these. I go, I have no idea. I
Good.
said, me personally, it's the guy upstairs that has kind of helped me along the way somewhere, because it's like, this is unexplainable. I'm not a salesperson, and I don't like salespeople. I don't like the pressure, when you walk onto the car lot and here they come,
Yeah.
all over you. This truck, that truck. It's like, excuse me,
That's me.
let me look around. So usually I would go
Yeah.
to Jones West Ford or,
Yeah.
or something in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
They're all gone. And I'd walk around and read everything on the labels and the stickers and, make my decision and stuff like that. So,
Well, Mike, I really appreciate you being
bet.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This-
The answer there is be kind to one another, man. So
Well, can we just turn around and help each other out in difficult times? And this person can have the same issues, but this person, processes it different, maybe because of chemical
Yeah.
imbalances in their brain than this person. So there's not a solution that like fits everybody.
Right.
We're all different. We all turn around and process things and handle things
Yeah.
different. I mean, I'll make one little comment that I've been through a lot of difficult times in my life. And I don't know, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I have quite a few weapons. And I sat with a 9mm twice. First time I was like, what am I doing? And I put it back in the safe by my bed. And then the second time was pretty bad. I sat for probably 20 minutes. And I came within what I would say a split second of sticking it in my mouth and pulling the trigger. It was so close, I was shaking. And I called my psychiatrist. And I said, hey, I got to talk to you, and told him. And he said, when can you come in? I said, this afternoon. What? He goes, come on in. His name was Charles Price. I went in and saw him, and he said, let me ask you a question. Why didn't you do it? And I said, I don't care about anything in life. I said, I should have been dead a long time ago, and I don't know why I'm here and why I'm still doing what I'm doing. But it would devastate my daughter. And he goes, yes, it would. And he goes, yes, you're the rock for her. And I said, I know. But it was being selfish. I turn around and it's easy to pull the trigger. That's no big deal. But satisfying. What about her? What about the other people in my life? How's it going to affect them?
Right.
And he went, very good reason on why you didn't do it. And I said, well, I can understand Rob. I didn't know Robin Williams committed suicide. I had no idea. I just knew he died. And then I don't know. I found a thing, and all these different people that have taken their life. I'm just like, what happened where it pushed them to that point? All these famous people, they have life. I mean, these rock singers and different things. It's like, what pushed them to that point?
I get you. I get you.
We're all different.
We're all different.
We all handle it different.
And we got a lot to live for. And so do you, my friend.
Well, and
You know
so
what I
it's
mean?
like meeting somebody, meeting you. It's like, if you ever needed to call me, I tell people that cell phone is by my side. You
There
can
you
call
go.
me night or day.
Well, but
I am there for you, man. It's like,
There you
I
go.
will come meet you. I'll do anything I can to turn around and have your back.
badass.
So-
No better way to end that.
so-
Thank you
so
so much for
thank
being here,
you.
Mike. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.